Hey there, Arthur here. In this video, we'll have a look at how to prepare Word files for the import to SciFlow and the following conversion into a SciFlow document. And for this video, we prepared some topics for you, but before we get into the action, I want to start with a quick disclaimer. When it comes to importing Word files to SciFlow, it doesn't really matter what the typography of your document looks like. You don't need any specific Word templates that must be used for the recognition to be effective. What the importer worries about or looks for is structural and semantic elements so that it can analyze the document correctly. So in that regard, we prepared the following topics for you, and these are the only things you need to look out for when preparing your Word file for an import to SciFlow. And in this video, we'll have a look at the chapter structure, how to implement chapters so that SciFlow can recognize them. And the same goes for the captions of figures and tables, what is needed to have SciFlow recognize them as well. And it goes on with the footnotes and endnotes. We'll look at how indents can work for block quotes. And at the end, we will have a look at author information as well, because this can be detected by the importer as well. So without further ado, let's get into the first topic, which would be the chapter structure. When it comes to the chapter structure, the most important thing is to understand that SciFlow looks for the setup of your document. It wants to know what is a chapter, what is a title, and the way to do that is to work with the styles that Word offers. So as you see here, if I open the styles bar, you'll find that the title here, which is visually a title, uses the title style as well. And this is not only a formatting attribute that is applied, it is also a structural attribute. And the same goes for chapter titles, like here you see the abstract is a chapter as well. Don't worry about the differing formatting here. It doesn't matter if your chapters are blue, purple, or in any different color. SciFlow just really wants to know what are the chapters that are part of your manuscript. And as you see, if I click into the heading here, it also says in the styles bar, this is heading 1. So here you can use the commonly known heading structures to apply those different heading levels to your chapters. And to give it a little bit more contrast, the normal running text is just styled as normal. This is our recommendation, but the very, very important part is that the headings have a appropriate heading level assigned to them. A good way to recognize or check if there are chapters in your document is to go via the view pane here and activate the navigation pane, because there you'll see what chapters are present in your Word document, and it also gives you an overview over subchapters here as well. In this example, we don't have those, but if I click to another chapter, we'll see that there is also the same principle applied. When I go back to the styles pane, we'll see this is a heading as well, and the running text is just normal running text. So this way you can go through your document and just make sure that these headings are applied, or you make sure that if you receive submissions from authors or any other kind of manuscripts submitted by somebody, you can ask them to apply those heading levels themselves as well. Important to point out here again is that there is no specific Word template needed for that. These styles here are the default styles that are available with every Word document, so every author can apply them, and you can apply them as well if you receive a manuscript and you find it faster to apply those chapter levels yourself. We wholeheartedly recommend to look out for this specifically, because with these styles and with the structure clearly set up for the importer, the whole process becomes much more smoother, and it just relieves you from doing work afterwards by either suggesting that authors do this work or you do this yourself after you receive the Word files. Awesome. So that's everything you need to know for the chapter structure. Next thing we will have a look at is how this works for figures, tables, and their captions. So let's have a look at how to work with figures and especially with figure captions, and the same goes for tables as well. So as you see here, the importer has no problem uploading figures that are embedded in the Word file. This is no problems. If you prefer workflows where you insert the figures after uploading to SciFlow, this is perfectly fine as well. You have the option to do that as well. What we want to recommend when working with figures is to just make sure that they are inserted via the function that is available here in Word by just clicking on Insert Pictures. And if you want to convey that to authors who submit manuscripts to you, we recommend to convey that information as well. When it comes to the captions, it isn't necessary to apply a style here as well, but it makes the whole workflow smoother. So if we look at the styles tab again, we'll see the style here is caption style. So this way the importer knows, okay, this caption belongs to that image here, and it forms a figure that way. You can assign that later on in SciFlow as well. Nothing is lost here, but depending on the workflows that you come up with, it might be suitable to have your authors do that, or work that or apply that in if you're working on a Word document anyway. If you're not comfortable or you want to look for other ways to apply that caption style here, or if there's another workflow you want to give to your authors or other people who submit manuscripts, what we also recommend, or what we want to point out here, is if I right click on the figure, it gives me the option to insert a caption, and if I use that, it will give me this field here where I can insert a caption. The label you can ignore, you can remove that as well, as you see here, because that will be applied in SciFlow automatically anyway. And you can fill out your caption here, and it will receive that same caption styling that we saw before. And yeah, the same principle also applies to tables. So let me scroll down here a little bit to a table that we see here. What we want to point out in regards to tables is that you really make sure that the table function is used as well. So as you see here, this is a table that was once again inserted via the appropriate or respective Word function, and it is really important that you use this feature, because tables that are just implemented by using spaces and tab stops will not be recognized by the importer. These proper tables, on the other hand, will be recognized without a problem. So make sure that the Word files that you want to upload to SciFlow have proper tables. In regards to the caption, it is exactly the same caption style again, and it can be applied via the Styles tab, or once again via a right click on the table where we see here we can insert a caption as well. So this is very identical workflow here for table captions and for figure captions. And it is also basically all you need to know, because everything else will be done by the importer. So make sure that you use the table function, insert figures if you want to use them in your Word file via the appropriate Word function, and then assign the caption style to the captions that you want to use for those elements. The next thing that we will have a look at are foot and endnotes and indents. So see you in a bit with the prepared passages. So here we are with a little block quote that I just prepared to make it look like a block quote. And the way that I've done that is very, very simple and straightforward. I just used the indent function in Word. So as you see here, if I click on the increase indent button here, it will give this little indent to the paragraph, and this way SciFlow will also recognize, hey, this paragraph has an indent, and indent are usually used for these block quotations in the academic context, and it will apply the same principle to that paragraph. So after you import it, SciFlow will treat it as a block quote automatically. Of course, there is nothing lost when you want to do that after the fact as well, but when conveying requirements for submissions or working with those people who provide those manuscripts for you, it might be a good idea to convey to them, if they have block quotes, to just use the indent increasement button in Word. And on the other hand, what I see here as well, and what we can have a look at, are footnotes. In this case, these are endnotes, but on a technical level they behave the same. And as you see here, this is a semantic element which you can recognize by this long text that is embedded behind it. And the idea here is the same as with the other principles as well. As long as you use the appropriate word function, the importer will be able to recognize the element behind it. So what was done here is that the function in Word found behind references was used, which is insert a footnote. And in this case, it doesn't matter if it is a footnote that appears on the same page, or as we see in this case, an endnote that appears right at the end of the document, as we see here. Number 3, this is the endnote that we just saw. It doesn't matter in which way it is set up, because in SciFlow it will be recognized as a marker that indicates that additional information is embedded behind that, and will be analyzed and converted that way into a SciFlow document. Depending on the template that you'll use, they will come out as footnotes or endnotes again, but it doesn't matter. So if someone submits something with endnotes while your journal or published template uses a different output format, it is no problem, because SciFlow will be able to apply the proper styling that you wish for anyways. And that is basically it. This concludes all you need to know in regards to preparing a Word file. To sum it up, it is important to just keep in mind that using the proper word functions goes a long way, and the foundation is the chapter structure. As a last bit, we will have a look at the author information as well, which isn't necessarily in regards to the word functions that you use, but we have means to automate things there as well. So see you in a bit again to have a look at how you can work with author information in your Word files as well. And here we are again at the top of the document, and the most observant among you may have already recognized right from the beginning that there are author affiliations also implemented in this example document. And these are just here to give a showcase of what kind of author information can be recognized when uploading a manuscript, a Word manuscript, to SciFlow. This, of course, highly depends on your workflows and what you need. So in a setting where complex author information and a multitude of authors are part of a document, or a manuscript that you want to transform into a SciFlow document, this can be very, very helpful, because it helps you fill out metadata fields about the authors automatically, and benefiting in that way. So there is not much to say about this, other than you can set it up in this way, where you use the superscripted numbers to highlight the affiliation, and you can do that in the other way as well, where you have the author name as a paragraph with the author affiliation here as well. There you can just check it out for yourself, try out around a little bit, and the way that you can work with these recognized author data fields will be part of a different video, where we'll look at the conversion process, the import process itself, but everything you need to know you already heard about in this video. and it should give you all the tools that you need to start with that in the next step. So maybe we'll see each other or hear each other in that video again. This is everything we've got so far for you in regards to preparing your Word manuscript for the upload to SciFlow. Yeah, hope you had a good time. Take care and hopefully see you in SciFlow. Bye bye.